Thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica Podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif, an urban planner, and you're more than welcome to join my big journey of exploring the making of smarter and more livable cities. Please don't forget to follow Urbanistica on the different social media platforms, and also let's connect on LinkedIn. Big thanks to Urbanistica podcast partner, AFRY. AFRY is an international engineering and design company providing sustainable solutions in the fields of energy, industry, and infrastructure. Are you ready for a new episode? Let's go for it. Hello, Linus, and welcome to Urbanistica Podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
How are you?
I feel inspired. It's great to be here, to meet you, and to be able to talk about Stockholm Wood City, which is very close to my heart.
Yeah, I'm inspired by the idea, and I'm really happy that you're here, and we managed to have a time to talk about this. So before we get into the story, give us like a short highlight about Linus.
Well, I'm 51. I've been working at Atrium Ljungberg for the last 20 years or so. I'm an urban nerd. I love cities, and especially maybe Stockholm. It's my hometown.
Yeah.
I live in Södermalm in Stockholm, in the Stockholm inner city. One wife and 2 kids and a small cat.
Amazing.
So that's a short version at least.
Yeah. But a lot of urban development in you.
Yes, definitely. And I enjoy, when I have spare time, I like to travel to cities. And I'm especially fond of nice squares and to sit in the best part of a square and watch the world pass by.
Yeah. Which city was the latest one you visited?
The last one, that is probably Villajoyosa in Spain.
Okay.
Yeah. Close to Alicante. It's in the Valencia region.
Nice.
Small medieval city.
Yeah.
Nice squares. Yeah. I love the squares.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about the wooden city. Yeah. Take us back in time and tell us about first Atrium Ljungberg. We have listeners from many countries, so it's good that we give them a background.
Yeah, sure. Atrium Ljungberg is one of Sweden's biggest real estate companies. So we have operations in the 4 major cities in Sweden: Stockholm, Uppsala, Gothenburg, and Malmö. And our uniqueness is that we don't do only offices or only residentials. We do it all. And also culture houses, schools, and whatever is needed in the sort of urban fabric to make a complete 15-minute city. So we are really more interested about humans and have a very human-centric approach when we create places in the city. That's what we're most interested in. And then there has to be buildings and other stuff. But our main concern and our main interest is in creating the best environment for people to thrive.
Cities for people. Huh?
Cities for people.
Being part of making cities for people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And now making wooden cities for people.
Exactly.
So how or what is the background of coming with this idea?
We have this big city district in the south of Stockholm called Sickla, which we've been developing, and we're the owner and for the last 20-25 years. So it's already a thriving city district, a lot of culture, a lot of shopping, a lot of housing, a lot of offices. And it's approximately 200,000 square meters at present. But now we have the opportunity to build 250,000 more square meters. And that is really awesome, of course. It's a great demand for housing and offices, etc. in Sickla. But there is also, of course, the question about sustainability. If we're going to build new, that takes a lot of resources and it's a lot of CO2 emissions. And we have a very ambitious set of goals when it comes to our climate effect as a company. So our aim is to be climate neutral by 2030. So with those two greatnesses combined, the great demand for livable, thriving cities, and also the great challenge with the sustainability, the only solution that we could find that could combine those two was to build the entire 250,000 square meters in a wooden frame structure, which make it, of course, the biggest urban wooden project in the world.
That's awesome. First, congratulations, because like when we start to see the idea and the concept in the news, I was like, wow, this is like a game changer. But tell me, like inside the office, when people come with the idea of making a wooden city, how was the reaction? Like, okay, is this like fun idea, or wow, this is a genius idea?
We came up with the idea. We have quite innovative climate at the company, and we are aware that what took us here won't take us into the future. So if we want to build new success, we have to have new thoughts, new ideas, and to rethink old traditions. So I think you have to have that sort of climate in the company to be able to pull off this sort of big leap idea. Because this is not only baby steps and making things a little bit better. This is a big leap.
Yeah, exactly. This is what we also going to talk about, like pushing for more innovative ideas or big ideas instead of like just doing business as usual. But tell me more, what is a wooden city?
Well, the wooden city, it's 250,000 square meters, and it's a combination of offices, residentials, and public ground floors with shopping, restaurants, culture, urban sports, etc., 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 and with a great care of the spaces between the houses as well. And it's based on the idea of the 15-minute city, so it's walkability is very important, and also to have the density and the closeness will be combined also with areas for retreat and calmness, some sort of yoga feeling to some places. But it's a big chunk of city. It's 25 city blocks, 30 buildings, so that's kind of massive. And if the listeners are familiar with the old city of Stockholm, this is more or less the same size. For the footprint, so it's rather big. So it's a massive project. Yeah. So we definitely want to make it an environment that is good for people and that contributes to a good life. So a lot of city life is our goal to achieve also. Yeah. So it's not just about the wood, it's also about creating an environment that is super attractive.
Yeah. And if I understand correctly, all the name tells everything. Like it's gonna be of wood, which means like the building, I guess, or what is exactly going to be of wood?
The buildings. So it's gonna be wood structures. And there has been a lot of innovation, as you know, the last decade. So now it's beams and columns that is made out of glulam. So it's innovation that makes it really, really strong and durable, which makes it suitable then for big structures and big buildings.
Yeah.
So it's going to be between 5 and 7 stories high.
That's
so it's
like Stockholm.
It's like a normal scale in the inner cities.
Because like sometimes when we hear like a wooden building or a structure of wood, we might think it's going to be like maximum 3 floors or something because wood is not like solid enough. But now I see like it's getting higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, it's a completely new technique. So it's prefabricated inside the industrial site, and then it's taken to the building site. So it's very fast also, and also much quieter compared to traditional building with concrete and steel. So it's like building Lego, more or less.
Yeah, of wood.
Oh, wood.
Yeah.
The wooden Lego thing. Yeah.
And do we have like, because this is the site is big, and do we have, let's say, enough timber for local, or how is it going to be with the timber?
Well, that's one of the key questions, of course. And if you've been traveling around in Sweden, most of it is forests and wood. So we got a great supply here. And it's growing faster than we harvest. So it's a positive growth in our forest at the moment, which is good. So this is not going to be, I hope, a unique project. I hope this will inspire others to do the same, because this reduces the CO2 emissions with 40 to 50%. It's 40 to 50% better compared to build with green steel and green concrete, which is...
It's like cutting by half.
It's cutting by half.
And how is it when it comes to weather? Because as you know more than me, like Swedish weather is tough.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have wooden buildings.
Yeah, you can have different types of layers on the surface to protect them, paint or whatever. But they are also quite durable as they are. There are many old wooden buildings in Sweden that's been there for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years in this climate. So we don't see that as a problem, not at all.
That's great. And tell me more about the life that you love to create by this district or city. What kind of life is going to be there?
Well, the important thing is to have a mix of different activities, different functions. We are big fans of the project for public spaces with our idea of the power of 10. So we always have that with us when we think about the place, and that place can be either outside or inside. And there has always at least 10 good things happening in that place. Activities or recreational or whatever. So that's one main thing. And we are also very keen on having culture in the city. So we have in almost all our areas, we have sites for culture houses, scenes, music, etc., etc. It's a really important part for the city life. But also urban sports and sports for health activities, etc. So that will also be in the program when we're creating this, and it's already there in a big extent. So
it's interesting you mention culture, because you're like a property developer, and culture usually not the most profitable function to have. So how do you see culture as more like income or profitable for what you do?
Some culture makes a lot of money, of course, and they can pay market rents. Some don't. We develop big areas where we can have small parts that are not that profitable. But in the bigger picture, everything combined makes it more profitable for us as a real estate owner, since it makes it an attractive destination. Exactly.
And because with every, how to say, innovative idea or high tech or low tech, like so with something with a new development, usually it's only for like rich people or people who can afford to live there and so on. Then like with all these kind of new developments, new ideas, we kind of exclude the part of society. I have been in different countries. I saw like they developed the new areas. And what I see there only like fancy cars, people with high income. So it's not really welcoming everybody or for everybody. Wooden City, it's one of its kinds in the world. It's big. Is it also going to be for people with fancy cars who can afford high rent and so on?
If you're going to live there, yes, they're going to be quite high rents. But we're going to combine how do you say, BRF in English?
Let's see.
Condos, maybe?
Yeah. It's more like a rental association or something like this.
Maybe. We'll look it up, yeah. Nevertheless, it will be a combination of different types of housing.
Okay.
And maybe also co-living, which can make it more affordable for young people. So hopefully we can find a mixture, but it is expensive to build new houses, and therefore the rents will be also rather expensive. So that's a big challenge, of course, for the whole industry.
But building with wood is more expensive than building with the traditional building materials like steel and...
Actually, it's kind of on par because the material is a bit more expensive, wood. But
the wood is more expensive?
More expensive, yes. But the building time is shorter on site, so that saves time.
It's like you balance the budget in the end.
Exactly. So it's more or less the same.
Yeah. And can this be scaled up? Let's talk about Sweden. Can this be built everywhere in Sweden?
I definitely think so. Yeah, we got the forest, we got the knowledge, and it's a more of a thing of courage and be brave enough to do it, and to skip away from the old traditional ways of building.
Yeah.
So it's more about attitude than anything else.
Yeah. But is it like how to say? Only for Atrium Ljungberg, it's like copyright thing, or no? Everyone can like build a wooden city.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there's quite a few buildings already in wooden structure in Sweden and elsewhere. Not super many,
but not an area.
Not an area. No, it's not copyrighted, not at all. We hope to inspire the rest of the world and the rest of Sweden to do the same.
Yeah. Can the rest of the world also do this? It's a question of material, right?
Yes, it is, and. To some extent, yes, but of course it will not solve everything. It's part of the solution. Yeah.
And what challenges you see with building this city?
The challenge, which is also an opportunity, is that it is new. It's innovation. So you have to learn while doing it. So our idea is to gather the best experts, both in Sweden but also internationally, to do this. Our aim is to make this a showcase for Swedish innovation, because this is from the forests and the timber, and you use it for a high-profile product. And hopefully this can be a Swedish or Scandinavian big export industry to create sustainable and livable entire cities out of wood.
Exactly, the new how to say, the new Nordic way of making cities, maybe.
Exactly. This could be a paradigm shift and a shift in design style, because wood, it's many people find it very beautiful. It's very healthy to be inside a wooden building. It's better air quality, better acoustics, etc. So you feel really good.
Yeah.
It's a biophilic dimension in it, so you move the nature into the city.
Closer to you.
Yeah, closer to you, and it lowers blood pressure and heart rate. You actually have a significant health aspect as well.
Interesting. And how is it when it comes to, let's say, recycling? Now you're taking timber or trees from the forest. Are you putting something back?
Yes, it's almost like a plantation. So we take timber from the forest plantation and move it to the buildings and produce the buildings. And they will be there for 100, 120 years at least. And at the same time, the forest will grow up twice again.
Like you plant trees.
Yes, exactly.
Double as what you took off.
Yes.
Trees. Okay.
So that's the only material that we found that is really renewable. Which is also awesome, of course. And after 100, 120 years, then maybe we don't know now what you can do with the wood. Maybe you can make something else out of it. Maybe it can stand for longer.
Right. Maybe some genius group comes with interesting material you can just like paint, and then it stays like this forever. Something.
Exactly. Hopefully.
I trust I believe a lot in technology. I think we are smart to innovate and respond to the challenges.
I think so, and when we take this leap, I think there will be followers and new ideas, etc.
Yeah.
So
because like what I'm happy with what you do is that you open a new door in the city making, in architecture, and in construction. So now many people will look at this, do research. You and the company, you're gonna see some like needs and maybe hire people to do research to develop something for this. So it's like a huge door. You open it, which is like I'm really, really happy about it, and Shout out to you and to the team.
Glad to hear.
Yeah.
So are we. We're so pumped up about this. This is the best idea we come up with so far. It solves so many questions at the same time.
Yeah.
So this can be hopefully a game changer.
Yeah. Linus, tell me, like, this forest has been in Sweden for ages. And then the climate change also, like for the recent decades. Why, let's say, nobody in Sweden thought about this idea? It's like, sounds really simple. Okay, we live in the forest. Why we not take the material from there?
Well, it's good question. Sorry. That's a really good question. I think it's got to do with being inside the paradigm. So we've been inside the modernist building paradigm, which has been based on concrete and steel construction. So that's what we've been doing for 100 years. And that's what we know. So you keep repeating what you know. It was a success last time. Let's do it again and again and again. So you haven't had the pressure actually to make the shift. But now with the climate crisis being very, very urgent, and it calls for action now, not in 10 years or 20 years, but now. I think that's why. Now we're shifting our attitude, and we're understanding that we have to do a lot of stuff, and we have to do it right now.
It takes also a brave leadership to take this huge step and also to make it happen. You told me in the beginning of the episode about the culture to innovate and so on. Tell me, what are the important steps in leadership from creating the idea to making it happen?
I think you have to have an open mind and to be co-creation in the core and in your heart, to like to work with other people, because no one is a unique genius. You do stuff together.
Collectively, yeah.
Collectively, yes. So that's one key. You have to find the business case in it. It's easy to find brilliant, beautiful ideas, but you have to make it into a business case as well.
Which means like you should make money off it.
Definitely so. I mean, we're on the stock exchange. We have to make money and make profits and have happy shareholders. So that's why we're doing it. And we see this as a big commercial potential for us. This is unique. It's attractive, and we have a lot of demand actually for this, and a lot of interesting discussions. It's a big interest in this. This is new. It's something different. It's sustainable. It's healthy. It's good workplaces, etc., etc.
Yeah. So being open-minded to like to listen to different ideas and to elaborate and develop them, then making them to a business model to make a profit out of it.
Yes, and I think you have to go parallel with those. You can't be only doing one thing and then go into the business. You have to very early on think about the business side. So you have to have your Excel spreadsheet as well as your mood board combined together to make a picture.
I think this is the key to make things successfully done, is that being realistic at the same time, innovative and creative.
Yeah.
Because if you're just creative, then okay, fine, but how can we use this creativity in our everyday life? And if you're too much in numbers and Excel and business, maybe it's not something comfortable that people love to be part of.
Oh, exactly. It's sort of yin and yang. You have to have both sides combined.
Yeah. And how was the reactions of the architects or planners when you came with the idea and told them, okay, we want to make this happen?
They were very happy, actually. They thought this was a beautiful, brilliant idea and very inspiring, and gave a lot of ideas and new insights also. So, yeah, inspirational, I would say. So also Nacka municipality, which is the municipality that Sickla is in, they are also very engaged in this and big supporters, which we do this as a team, of course.
And I received also many questions from my international audience asking if it's going to be a high-tech city as well, like a lot of sensors, a lot of connecting sensors to mobile apps and so on? Or what is the approach when it comes to technology?
Yeah, that's another big trend, of course, the smart city and smart building concept. So there are going to be a lot of sensors, and there's a big focus on energy efficiency at the moment, of course. So that's one thing, to use AI also to control the buildings and make them sustainable. And we will also work with geothermal storage and solar panels and batteries, etc. So we will be more or less self-sufficient when it comes to energy and heating, which is also it's materials, energy, and transportation. That's the three big things that our industry impacts when it comes to CO2 emissions and climate impact. So all these three are in our focus.
Yeah. And like, tell me how you synchronize the teams, because you're working with a lot of stuff and a lot of technology, innovation, architecture, and planning. How is the teamwork? Like, how is the communication? So many experts sitting on this project.
We work with a small in-house team, maybe 4, 5, 6 persons is the core that holds everything together. Business development, project development, brand experts, leasing experts. Yeah, that's probably it. And then we have experts on the outside, so construction experts, architects, sustainability experts, which we also have in-house, of course. But our key to success is to have a very tight and small development team with a lot of responsibility also. So that's how we can move fast enough. Otherwise, it will take forever. So the team moves very fast, and then we got the decisions made in the management.
Yeah. And like, if we talk about the time frame, can you tell us, like, how is it?
Definitely. We start this spring. So the first
already?
construction will be this spring, and that will be high school. So it's going to be for students.
Nice.
The next city block will be housing, residential. Perfect. Yeah.
Your phone just dropped down.
Never mind. Yeah. So the next one will be residential. That will be started in 2024, and people will move in 26.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one will be office, and that will start 2025 and move in 2027. So the total time frame here is that we will be more or less finished up with this part in 10 to 12 years.
It's very short compared to construction or this volume of construction in Sweden.
It is. It's a major project. A lot of things are happening. We got the metro coming.
Also,
there's a lot of rails coming into Sickla. So it's a very, very hot spot now. So therefore we are confident that we can have a high tempo also.
We have a lot of property developers listening to us now as well, and also the community of architects and designers and so on. When it comes to making this kind of cities or future cities, what are the skills you think we should develop or learn? Especially this year is the year of skills in Europe.
I would like to see in our industry more placemaking skills. That's a lack of that, I would say. More target group and branding skills. More innovation skills, design thinking, etc. To make new ideas come true. Sustainability skills. New business model skills. So everything is about not doing the same as we have been doing for the last 100 years. That's not going to be the future success. We have to rethink and make new ideas and new connections and have new competencies. A lot of what we've been doing, we will keep doing, of course, but we have to add new skills to that. And the digital side of things, of course, will be very, very important.
Yeah.
And also combined with new business models, I think.
You mentioned placemaking and then a brand. With the placemaking, I'm very familiar working with Placemaking X, Europe.
I know.
Tell me about the branding. What exactly like you love to, or you can elaborate on in the branding skills, why you need it?
Yeah, I think it's becoming very close to the core of the business, the brand skills. It's not just about having a nice brochure and a good logotype. It's more about creating activities on site, on ground, in the city. And that is the brand. And that has to be co-creational. That has to be relevant. It can't be like the big real estate company hiring someone from Melodifestivalen. It's got to be for real.
Okay.
So real activities in the local society and be hyper local and have the bravery to be just that.
Yeah. And Linus, the co-creation things or activities takes time because you need to listen, discuss, talk, put together ideas and so on. How does it match with the business model? Because here you want to get things done quickly to make money. When it comes to co-creation, things take a bit longer time. How do you think there?
We think that we can accelerate the co-creation process. So you have a very structured method, a design thinking method, where you can be pretty fast from the first idea, the first brainstorming, to have an actual concrete idea that can be functional and that you can make happen. So I think you can make it faster. So tempo is crucial here, I think. We don't have time to sit for years to discuss things. We have to say, okay, we have half a year now. In half a year's time, we will be able to make decision A, B, and C. What's the process to come to that point?
Exactly. And like by creating this wooden city, do people really believe in this kind of a new idea, new areas that is not really, it's not really the traditional way of building? Is it attractive? People invest in such places or visit these places? Visit maybe yes, but let's talk about the buying, let's say houses or renting. People believe in this or not? They like to stick to what we are used to because it's more like guaranteed to work, and we, as you mentioned, have been doing this for ages.
We think that the examples that you can observe now, both residential and offices, they have higher rent levels. So that's a proof of the attractiveness, of course. So we think, yes, definitely. And the discussions we have, that's a big advantage to have something else, something more, something that is also identity that you can relate to. And I mean, the basic structure is still a city. It's buildings, it's squares, it's streets, it's houses. It's not that different. But it's got a much nicer, softer tone. It's more the feeling, the aesthetics, it's softer. It's
the experience is going to be different. More,
yes.
I guess, more softer.
Yes, it's softer, but still Scandinavian elegant.
That's beautiful. And also, I'm asking this question to my guest in the podcast. What should we stop doing? Usually we talk a lot about what we should do more and develop and so on. But what should we stop doing of what we do? You can start as a land developer. And I love also to get your opinion about making city like planning or designing more like out spaces or public spaces.
We should stop as a standard to tear down buildings from the 80s, 90s. We should see how we can reuse them and upgrade them. And if that's not possible, we should stop building new projects with concrete and steel as a standard. We should really make conscious choices for materials. Is wood the best? Is it a hybrid with wood and concrete? What makes the least CO2 impact? So yeah, I think that's stop doing what you has always been doing. You can't do it all the time.
No, more like reprogramming instead of tearing down.
Yeah,
buildings.
I think so. That's the first option.
Exactly.
And if that's not possible, use good materials with low climate impact.
But why do you think we are less into reprogramming buildings? It's like it's cheaper to turn down a building, or it's like lack of ideas? What do you think?
I think it's both, but one problem is the floor height in buildings from the 70s, 80s. It's kind of low ceiling. So that's a problem.
Now it's like 2.8
in
2.8 meters?
Yes, and in the 70s, 80s in office it was maybe 240, 250.
Okay.
So it's considered too low.
Low,
but you can make things with that. You can... you can find new ideas. You can reprogram, you can find new ideas. So I think it's a lot about creativity and also an attitude, because we've been doing that for so many years. Just tear it down, it's old.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the first stop doing.
Yeah, that's the first
stop. You have more?
Do I have more? Yes. Choose the right materials. Choose wooden structure instead of concrete structure. Stop planning for cars and parking as the number one way of getting to the office or the residential. Have a conscious mobility strategy. That's super important, I would say. Think more about people and make a city that is good for someone who's 8 years old and 80 years old, and everybody will love the city.
The 80 cities.
Yeah. So I think we're on to it. We know what to do, and we have to make it happen faster and in more places. Because now it's here and there, not everywhere.
Exactly. This leads me to this question. Okay, we have this beautiful wooden city in Sickla. Is there a possible way to develop the existing cities and make them wooden? Like not building new, but with the existing infrastructure. Can we do something there?
Interesting. Yeah, I think you can. Wood is very suitable to add if you want to put a few more stories on an existing building. It's a light structure. So the weight is kind of low. So I think, yes, it's good for infill projects and to make the city denser where it's possible. I think it's good idea.
Yeah. And we before we go to the last section of this episode, what do you think is gonna be the biggest challenges that you're like afraid of that might going to happen in these 10 years?
Good question. Yeah, I would say that I don't think that I see that also as an opportunity, but what we are looking for now is also to find a group of companies and organizations who also believes in this idea, who can be part and be tenants and create some sort of triple helix context with academia, businesses, and people interested in those kind of topics, issues, to make a real network where we also can make this to be a common showcase for everybody who's there.
You mean more like as a community living in the wooden city?
Yeah, and also with companies and organizations that have a big interest in these issues. So that's more of an opportunity, actually, and we have a great interest just from those sorts of organizations and companies and individuals.
I think also like you just started, so companies might having an internal discussions about should we move or should we start the talk or conversation with them. So I believe it's coming, and because what I see more, let's say, organizations are willing to have a sustainable building as also like contributing, but also as a symbol, as good for their employees and for the planet. So I think it's a question of time.
Yeah.
And then the emails will.
Yeah, we see a shift there.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a big issue, unfortunately, but I think it will be now. And there's going to be the taxonomy from the EU, and there's going to be a lot of new laws. So you really, really have to be a front runner.
Yeah, exactly. And in time, instead of waking up,
Yeah.
we're too late, we need to hurry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Great. And the last section of the episode is about you giving 3 takeaway messages to our listeners.
Don't wait. Do things now. Be brave and bold. Don't sit and be shy in a corner. Say, this is what needs to be done. Let's do it. And at the same time, be humble and understand that you can't solve everything yourself. You have to have great people and great minds with you. So get the group together.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Linus, for inspiring us. And shout out again to you and to the team for making this happen and going to making this happen. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mustafa. It's been a pleasure to be here.